It's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. Glad to be back with you. It's time for a story out of our Bible storybook. And I'm going to just tell the story instead of reading it. It's called The Forgotten Dream. Now, King Nebuchadnezzar in his court had many wise people that counseled him on how he should run his kingdom. Like there were some Chaldeans, and there were magicians, and there were astrologers, people that understood the stars. And they would all go to see the king, and they would feel so important. One day, when they heard about Daniel, Shadrach, and Meshach, they got to talking. They were not happy about those young men. I mean, who did they think they were? Oh, yeah, they'd went to school for 3 years. Now they thought they knew everything. And they weren't even from Babylon. They were from another country. Oh, they were not impressed at all. Well, one morning, the king took his seat upon his golden throne, and his servants noticed that his face looked very troubled. And rumor began to spread around the court that the king had not had a good night, and he was not in a good mood at all. Something had happened that upset him, and that was clear. But no one knew what it was, and no one dared ask either. Servants guessed, and it was going to be a trying day for everybody, and they guessed right. Suddenly, the king roused himself from his deep thought and snapped out a command. "Summon my counselors," he commanded. "Bring them all, the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans." Instantly, servants ran to do just what he said. Soon, dozens of important people, all dressed in their royal colors of their office, were hurrying to the palace, wondering what the king could want of them at such an hour. Was there bad news, do you think, from one of the battlefields? Or had the king merely thought of a new building that he wanted to build in the city? One by one, the counselors came into the throne room until finally everyone had arrived. And when they arrived, the king began to speak. And what he said surprised everybody. He had not called them to tell them about any bad news or that he wanted to build a new building. But he wanted to talk to them about a dream he had. Whew, that was a relief. It was only a dream that he needed to tell him to ease his mind. They could soon help him with that. "O king, live forever," said the chief of the Chaldeans, bowing low. "Tell your servants the dream, and we will tell you the interpretation." Now see, they were experts. They really knew how to make up a story. And that's what they were used to doing when they talked to the king. But this time it wasn't going to work, because guess what? The king could not remember what he dreamed, but he knew that it was important, and it upset him. And he said, "No, you tell me the dream. That's why I called you here." Now, all the wise men, the Chaldeans and the magicians and astrologers and sorcerers, they looked at each other and they were scared now. Nobody had ever thought to ask them any type of thing like this. I mean, how could they know what he dreamed? He said, I'll pay you well if you tell me, the king said. I'll see that you get gifts and rewards and great honor. But if you don't believe me, I'll have you torn limb by limb and your houses all burnt down. Now the Chaldeans pleaded. They were begging the king to tell him the dream. And again, the king told them that he couldn't tell them. But they'd better tell him, and he meant soon. There's not a man on earth that can show the king's dream, replied the Chaldeans. And no king or lord, no rulers ever asked such a thing before. And you're requiring us to tell you this? The only ones that could possibly know your dream are the gods. And we're not gods. We're people. At this, Nebuchadnezzar became furious. I'm going to show you what it looks like. He was really mad. He had hoped that these men who claimed to know so much would be able to help him remember the dream. Now he knew they had been tricking him all along, lying to him about knowing things when they didn't really know them. He wouldn't have any of that. He was going to get rid of all of them. He was so angry, he gave orders that all the wise men of Babylon should be killed. Whoa, he is mad. And I bet they're scared. Well, this particular line of story is going to be in many parts. And in 2 days, I'll read the next section about what happens next. So, I'm glad that we don't have a king that would require us to do something that was impossible. But I'm also glad not to be a liar and tricking people into thinking I knew something that I didn't. Well, I want to tell you I love you. I really do. But more importantly, God loves you, and He always will. So, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I want to pray blessings on you and yours, in your house and out of your house, in the day and in the night. And whatever you do, keep dreaming. Good night, and God bless you.